My wife started sleep talking a few weeks after we moved into our new apartment. At first, it was harmless. Random words, mumbling, short conversations that made no sense. She used to do it whenever she was stressed, so I didn't think much about it. The move had been hard on her. We left our old house after I got promoted and transferred to another state. Smaller apartment. No friends nearby. No job yet. She hated it. At night she would toss around in bed while I pretended to sleep beside her. Then the screaming started. Sometimes I'd wake up at 3 a.m. and find her sitting upright in bed, crying in her sleep. One night she whispered something that made me freeze. "I wish you were dead." I remember staring at her in the dark, trying to convince myself she was dreaming. So I asked her, "Who?" And without opening her eyes, she answered, "You." After that, I stopped sleeping properly. Every night she talked about killing me. Not dramatically, not angrily, calmly, like she was explaining a grocery list. One night she described walking into the kitchen, grabbing a knife, and standing over me while I slept. Another night she described cleaning blood off the apartment floor. I kept telling myself it wasn't real. That stress was making her dreams weird. Then one night she said something different. "I lost my baby because of you." That one broke me, because years earlier she had a miscarriage, and I knew she blamed herself for it. I asked her what she meant. She answered immediately, "You made me want a family." I didn't sleep at all after that. The next few nights she barely talked, and honestly, the silence scared me more. Then about a week ago, I woke up around 2 a.m. The apartment was completely dark, and my wife wasn't in bed beside me. I heard slow footsteps somewhere in the apartment, then the sound of a kitchen drawer opening, and for the first time since this started, I realized she was awake. I worked night shifts, digitizing old patient files for a retired psychiatrist. Most of the records were normal: depression, anxiety, addiction, thousands of forgotten people packed into dusty filing cabinets. Then one night, I noticed another cabinet hidden behind a row of shelves in the archive room. No label, no inventory number, just an old gray cabinet tucked into the darkness. I opened the first drawer and pulled out a file. The patient's name wasn't in the computer system, neither was the next one or the next. None of these people officially existed. The doctor's notes were strange too, not medical observations, descriptions. Things like, patient claims someone stands outside apartment every night at 2:13 a.m. Patient hears knocking inside walls. Patient insists neighbor has keys to apartment. At first I thought they were schizophrenic cases. Then I noticed something else. Every file ended the same way. No discharge, no transfer, no death record, just one sentence stamped in red ink. Observation complete. I kept reading for hours. The stories became more disturbing. People convinced someone had been entering their homes while they slept. Patients finding objects moved slightly out of place. Unknown devices connecting to their phones. Security cameras activating at night. And every single patient eventually became terrified of being watched. Around 3 a.m. I finally checked the date on the files. Most were decades old. But one file had been updated recently. 3 days ago, I opened it. The patient name at the top was mine. It started with tapping on my bedroom window. At first I ignored it. My apartment was on the 3rd floor. There was no balcony outside, no fire escape, nothing anyone could stand on. But every night around the same time, tap, 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 tap. I stopped, opening the curtains after dark. A few days later, I saw him for the first time. A young boy standing outside my studio window. Pale face, dark hair, completely still, just staring at me. I stumbled backwards so hard I knocked over a sculpture. Then he spoke, but the voice didn't sound right. It was calm, flat, almost too deep for a child. Please let me in. After that, he started appearing everywhere, outside the coffee shop where I worked, across the parking lot near my apartment, standing near the sidewalk when I came home late at night, always watching, always smiling slightly, and every time I saw him, he said the same thing. Please let me in. Nobody else ever seemed to notice him. One evening, I saw him standing in the middle of traffic. Cars passed by him at full speed, but nobody slowed down. Nobody looked concerned, like nobody else could see him. That night, I rushed home and locked every door and window in the apartment. I checked them twice. Then I walked into my bedroom and froze. The window was open. Cold air moved the curtains slowly in the dark, and the boy was sitting quietly on the window ledge waiting for me. You left it open, he said softly. Then he stepped inside. When I moved into the apartment, the internet was already set up. The landlord told me the previous tenant had left suddenly and never canceled the service. At the time, that sounded convenient. I work remotely, so I just connected my laptop and didn't think much about it. The apartment itself was small but decent. 3rd floor, quiet neighborhood, old building with thin walls and long hallways, the kind of place where you could hear elevators moving through the pipes at night. For the first few weeks, everything felt normal. Then one night, my phone disconnected from Wi-Fi. I opened the network list to reconnect. That's when I noticed another network. Same exact name as mine, except mine ended with 5G and this one didn't. The signal was extremely strong, stronger than my own router. I assumed it belonged to a neighbor, but over the next few days I started noticing weird things. Sometimes my smart TV would randomly buffer, even though the internet connection looked perfect. My Bluetooth speaker occasionally made a quiet popping sound in the middle of the night. And once, around 2 a.m., my laptop camera light turned on for maybe half a second, then off again. I told myself it was just software glitches, old apartment, too many nearby devices, nothing serious. But after that, I started checking the Wi-Fi list more often. The second network was always there, always stronger. Eventually, curiosity got the better of me. I opened the router settings from my browser, and that's when I noticed there were more connected devices than there should have been. My laptop, my phone, TV, and another device, unnamed, active almost every night between 1 and 4 a.m. I changed the Wi-Fi password immediately. For one night, the unknown device disappeared. Then it came back, same hours, same activity. That was the first time I genuinely felt uncomfortable in the apartment. I started unplugging my webcam before bed, muting my microphone, closing the bedroom door, little things that made me feel stupid while doing them. One night, I woke up around 3 in the morning because my Bluetooth speaker connected automatically. I heard the connection sound from the kitchen. The apartment was completely dark. Then, very quietly, music started playing. Not loudly, just faint enough that I almost thought I imagined it. Slow instrumental piano. I got up and walked into the kitchen. The speaker light was on, connected to an unknown device. I unplugged it immediately. After that, I couldn't fall asleep. I just sat in bed listening to the apartment. The refrigerator humming. Pipes inside the walls. The elevator somewhere below me. Then I heard something else. Very soft footsteps in the hallway, outside my apartment door. Not walking past, stopping. I stayed completely still. A few seconds later, my phone lit up on the nightstand beside me. New airdrop request. No message. No image. Just accept. I remember staring at the screen while my heart absolutely lost control. Because airdrop range isn't very far. Whoever sent it had to be close. Really close. I didn't accept it. The request disappeared after a few seconds. Then another one appeared immediately. This time, the sender name changed. I know you're awake. I grabbed my phone and muted it instantly. The footsteps outside stopped, and for almost 10 minutes, I sat there listening to complete silence in the apartment. Then my internet suddenly disconnected again. No Wi-Fi, no signal, nothing. I checked the network list. My network was gone. Only the second router remained. Strong signal, full bars, and for the first time since moving there, I noticed the network name had changed. It was now using my full name.